Outside the hospital, Tanjio thanks Dongwu profusely, stating that without him, her mother would have died. But Dongwu is distracted, impatiently asking when his wish will come true and wondering what Hao Lin is doing at this moment. Meanwhile, Dukao is discussing with his subordinate about the energy reserves of the Demon Kingdom. Dukao emphasizes the importance of this energy. It's the only way the Yun Dominion can defend itself against the humans who are already advancing. The scene cuts to a fleet of spaceships soaring over a base. A blonde commander raises his hand, ordering the troops to prepare. In another part of the base, someone behind a curtain mentions they're doing this for Xiaofeng. Dongwu, still lamenting his fate, suddenly recalls why he misses that girl so much. She had potential, and it seems she genuinely liked him. Xiaofeng is shown muttering that although Dongwu's body isn't with her, she feels certain they'll meet again soon. Dongwu, however, cynically imagines that she's probably already with another guy raising 5 kids while he's destined to be a loser. At that moment, a group of bandits ambushes him, causing 100 damage. Dongwu screams at them, "Didn't you eat properly? Just cut my head off already." The bandits, confused, mutter about what kind of lunatic they're dealing with. Meanwhile, Dongwu, disheartened, wonders why no one can manage to kill him. Suddenly, Dongwu wakes up, shouting for someone to kill him. He shakes his head, muttering that he's been dreaming too much lately. Meyer enters, welcoming him back and informing him that Her Majesty has called an emergency military meeting. Dongwu, so groggy, follows her as the scene shifts to the meeting. Bingbi informs the generals that an immense human army is approaching their city. The attack will arrive sooner than expected and consists of over 10,000 soldiers. She explains that this is why she summoned the most important generals of Yun to discuss strategy. The last time they faced a battle of this scale was 10 years ago, and they barely survived. Huan recalls how they managed to survive that attack by employing guerrilla tactics and assassinating the human leader. That was the only reason the Yun Dominion still exists. However, he reminds everyone that the previous attack involved 5,000 soldiers, and the demons barely made it out alive. Now they're up against double that number. While the strength of the demons hasn't grown, they must somehow endure. Their only option is to buy time until reinforcements can arrive. Turning to Dongwu, Huan asks for his opinion on this matter. Dongwu, however, is only half listening, his mind racing. He calculates that if 1,000 soldiers could deal 100 damage per minute, he might finally take more damage than his passive can heal. In other words, being surrounded by this massive army might finally allow him to die. He pounds the table, declaring, "What an excellent opportunity." Rising from his chair, he insists they take the fight to the humans, meeting them face to face outside the city walls. The room falls silent, stunned by his suggestion. Even Huan slams the table, accusing Dongwu of recklessness. This is a life or death moment for the Yun Dominion. How can you speak so carelessly? Dongwu retorts that if they barely survived against 5,000 soldiers, it's ridiculous to think the same strategy will work against a double force. The worst thing we can do is sit here, waiting for reinforcements, he says. What will you do when, in a few years, they return with 20,000 soldiers? Who will you trust with the kingdom's future then? He challenges the room, asking, why doesn't anyone here have the courage to take control of their own future? And what's this nonsense about the demons not growing stronger? Have you all forgotten who I am? I am the greatest enhancement to our military strength. Bingyi, visibly emotional, listens intently as murmurs spread among the generals, commenting that this is the first time they're hearing a true demon king speak. But Huan interrupts, accusing Dongwu of recklessly sending thousands of demons to their deaths. He adds that Dongwu has never been on a battlefield and has no idea how cruel it is. Dongwu counters, questioning whether Huan really believes victory will come without risk. He mocks the idea of relying on outdated guerrilla tactics and calls out Huan's defeatist mindset. Do you really think you can win with that attitude, he asks. How can any soldier forget the most important thing on the battlefield, the spirit of victory? To prove his commitment, Dongwu makes a bold declaration. If we lose this battle, you have my permission to execute me publicly in front of everyone. The old man is visibly emotional, while the others simply stare in stunned silence. Wu Jin, however, smiles, commenting he really knows how to inspire people. Bingyi stands, declaring, I understand now. In this war, General Dongwu will receive all our troops and have full command. Instead of standing idle, we will open the gates and meet the enemy head-on. Sometime later, in military camp inside one of the tents, Huan addresses his subordinates. He reminds them of the countless battles they fought against the human army, but this time, the humans aren't just more numerous, they're also far stronger. He admits they don't stand a chance of winning and refuses to let the soldiers who have followed him for decades throw their lives away. Taking a moment to gather his thoughts, he raises his voice, commanding his officers. When we're called to the battlefield, this time stay in the city. Do not follow Dongwu's orders. If Her Majesty blames anyone, I will take full responsibility. A few days later, the 21st Legion of the Sacred Territory reaches the Yun Dominion. Through binoculars, a human officer observes the city and remarks, the fall of Yun City is finally upon us. Turning to his subordinate, he orders them to begin the circus. The directive is clear. No demon is to be spared this time. Missiles are fired at the city walls. Guards on the ramparts spot them and begin casting electrical magic to intercept the projectiles. For a moment, it looks like the missiles are exploding harmlessly midair. However, they continue advancing through the magical defenses. One of the demon guards is obliterated almost immediately. Meanwhile, Dongwo watches from the wall, grinning. They finally arrived, he says. From within the smoke, a horde of robots begins marching toward the city. As the attack commences, Huan approaches Dongwo. Turning to his men, Huan reminds them of the plan they discussed. However, even those officers seem uncertain which general they should follow. Dongwo notices the hesitation and shouts, commanding everyone to stay within the city walls. His voice carries authority, and his words leave everyone wide-eyed in confusion. This battle, Dongwo declares, belongs solely to the king. Without hesitation, he leaps off the wall, landing directly in front of the advancing human army. The human soldiers stop, bewildered by the lone demon standing against them. Lu Renjia, a human mage leading the forces, watches from a distance and frowns. "Why did he come alone?" he asks, suspicious. There are still many demons stationed on the walls, so Renjia wonders if this is some kind of trap. Meanwhile, the demon army remains perplexed, unsure why Dongwo gave such a reckless order. Huan, watching from the wall, is convinced Dongwo has lost his mind. "There are tens of thousands of humans out there," he mutters. How does he plan to face them alone? Standing boldly in front of the human army, Dongwo smirks. "I've heard humans are quite strong," he says, beginning to remove his armor piece by piece. "Are you going to attack, or are you all too scared?" The humans remain silent, confused by his audacity. Turning to Lu Renjia, Dongwo taunts, "In the past, I commanded you, didn't I? Don't disappoint me now." Renjia, visibly annoyed, scowls. Dongwo knows Renjia hates being embarrassed and continues his provocations. Turning his back to the army, he adds, "Oh, I have an itch. Anyone care to scratch it?" This proves too much for Renjia, who snaps, shouting, "How dare this bastard mock me? Kill him." He orders the entire army to attack. Arrows, bullets, and energy blasts rain down on Dongwo. He grins, thrilled that they've begun to attack in earnest. Even Renjia draws his sword, slashing for 150 damage. But Dongwo remains standing, seemingly unaffected by the onslaught. Despite never investing points in defense, his high level grants him a natural resilience that negates most of the attacks. He calculates quickly. To overcome his regeneration, the army would need to deal 1,666 damage per second. They're nowhere near that. Frustrated, Dongwu shouts at the soldiers, "What's wrong with you people? Attack properly already." The human soldiers freeze, unsure of what to make of him. Renjia orders the second unit to join the assault. More robots arrive, including a massive one equipped with a laser cannon. The cannon charges and fires a concentrated beam straight into Dongwo's chest. Dongwo laughs, encouraging them to keep it up. "Come on, hit me harder." From the walls, Huan watches in disbelief. He begins to wonder if Dongwo's confidence wasn't misplaced after all. Could it be that from the very beginning, he truly believed he could win alone? Meanwhile, Dongwo is taking 50 hits per second and finally starts celebrating. Watching his health bar drop, he exclaims, "It's been so long since I've seen this beautiful red color." But then his passive counterattack activates. One of the reflected attacks strikes his soldier directly in the chest, killing him instantly. The soldiers panic, trying to figure out what just happened. An injured officer, gasping for breath, warns, "This demon isn't normal." Before he can finish his sentence, Dongwo's counterattack triggers again, killing another soldier. Renjia starts to piece things together. Something's wrong. This must be part of his plan, he mutters. He orders the entire army to cease their attack immediately. Renjia recalls a legend the general once told him of an SS-ranked demon king, a being with immense resilience who was able to restore the demon race while he lived. According to history, this creature should have died long ago. Renjia stares at Dongwo, baffled. If that demon king is long dead, then who is this guy? Dongwo continues yelling at the soldiers, demanding why they stopped attacking when they have an army of over 10,000 men. However, the soldiers are only muttering among themselves, commenting that his health has already fully recovered. Renjia commands his troops, "Don't fall for his provocations. Something is clearly off when attacking this guy." He then states that their mission was merely to draw out the strongest member of the demon army, and they already achieved that. "Everyone, retreat," Renjia orders. "Minimize the casualties." With that, Dongwo is left standing alone. On the wall, Meyer questions why the humans are retreating. She calls for the Imperial Guard and orders them to advance alongside her. Wujin, standing beside her, commands the entire demon army to follow him. Dongwo hears something behind him and, turning around, sees the entire demon army charging forward. Renjia, seeing this, mutters in disbelief, "Why are those lunatics attacking now when we're trying to retreat?" To make matters worse, the humans' abilities are still on cooldown. The demon army advances, shouting that anyone who dares step into their territory must be punished. Meanwhile, Huan finally admits to himself that he's getting too old. He hadn't realized how dependable Dongwo truly was, someone who truly deserves the title of king. He addresses his troops and declares, "Listen to me. From now on, follow General Dongwo's orders. This time, we'll ensure these insects never return." The soldiers salute, raising their weapons, and begin to advance. But then someone behind Huan yells, "This is bad." Huan turns around and the soldier informs him that the human army has deceived them. This attack was just a distraction. They have already infiltrated the city. The soldiers stationed at the eastern gate